Jewish law at that time, it was his right.
按當時嘅猶太人法律，佢有咁嘅權利。
At a certain age, that he could request his inheritance.
到咗某個年齡，佢可以要求得着產業。
And he said, "I want it now.
佢話我而家要，
I don't want to wait till you die.
我唔想等到你歸天，
I want my inheritance right now."
我現在就要。
And young people are that way right now.
後生仔都係咁嘅。
You know, we watch television, we listen to radio, we watch the films, and we see instant solutions to very complicated problems.
你知我哋睇電視、睇電影、聽收音機，都發覺咧解決問題嘅方式係即時嘅。
And we get the idea that life is that way.
我哋以為人生都係一樣。
Whatever the problems, however complex they are, we want an instant solution.
無論係乜嘢問題，幾複雜都好，我哋都要即時解決。
You see something in the store.
你見到百貨公司有嘢賣。
You go to the shopping malls and you see things you want.
你去購物商場睇見你想得着嘅嘢。
And you say, "I want it now."
你話我而家要。
And some people even steal to get it.
有啲人甚至去偷添。
Now I'll get it when you're dead, this young man said to his father.
呢個後生仔話：反正你死嗰日，你都要俾我㗎啦。
But I want it now.
不過而家俾啦。
The father said, "What are you going to do?"
爸爸就話：你會點用呢？
He said, "I'm going to go to a great city where I can have a good time."
佢話：我去一個大城市享受人生。
I'm going to go to New York or Los Angeles or London or Tokyo or Singapore or someplace like that.
我去紐約啊、羅省啊、倫敦啊，或者係新加坡啊，或者東京啊，類似嘅城市啦。
I'm tired of Hong Kong.
我唔中意香港。
And we have troubles in Hong Kong.
我哋香港太麻煩。
So I want to leave.
所以我扯啦。
I want to go on my own.
我想自己出去闖天下。
I want to make my own decisions.
我想自己作決定。
I want to do a lot of dancing and listen to the rock and roll music.
我想跳舞啊，想聽搖滾樂啊。
And so the father gave him his request.
爸爸就應承佢。
He said, "All right, you can have your inheritance right now."
好，而家就將產業俾你。
This young man was bored and he was restless.
呢個後生仔好苦悶，好不安。
He wanted to please himself, his flesh.
想使自己開心。
But he didn't ask himself the serious questions that you ought to be asking.
但係佢冇問到自己嗰一個好嚴肅嘅問題，就係你應該問嘅問題。
Have you ever asked the question, "Where did I come from?"
你有冇問過到底你從哪裏來？
Who am I?
你係邊個？
What is the purpose and the meaning of my life?
你人生嘅目的同埋意義係乜嘢呢？
A few years ago, young people in America were asking, they wanted self-improvement.
幾年前，美國嘅青年人所問嘅問題就係點樣改進自己。
Today, American young people seem to want self-fulfillment.
今日美國嘅青年似乎所求嘅點樣滿足自己？
What will give me the deepest satisfaction?
邊樣能夠使我真正得滿足？
This young man wanted more of the excitement that he had seen on television, maybe if they had it in those days.
呢一個青年人佢想得到佢在電視上所見過一種嘅享樂更多嘅。
You watch the films,
你睇電影，
you see the television,
你睇電視，
and you say, "That's what I want."
你話我想咁啊！
They're having a good time,
佢哋真係好開心。
and I'm not.
我唔係噃，
I want it.
我希望得到。
And this son rebelled against his father.
呢一個仔就反叛離開佢父親。
And he went to a big city where they had all these pleasures.
去到一個好多享樂嘅大城市。
And the Bible says that he wasted his inheritance on foolish living.
聖經話佢花天酒地，揮霍無度。
He saw some pretty girls walking down the street. He said, "I want one of those."
佢喺街上見到有靚女，就話我要識佢。
He went to the shopping mall. He said, "I want some of that." And he had money in his pocket and he bought it.
去到購物中心見到有靚貨，佢就話我想買。
And soon he spent money all around. He had a lot of friends around him.
佢到處咁樣使錢，就好快有朋友。
They wanted some of the things too.
佢哋都希望得到好處。
And he was free with his money.
咁佢又咁闊佬，
He was having a good time.
佢玩得好開心。
And the Bible says there's pleasure in sin.
聖經話俾我哋聽，有罪中之樂。
Think of it now.
你諗下，
The Bible says there's pleasure in sin,
聖經話犯罪會快樂，
but only for a short time.
不過係短暫嘅，
Then trouble comes.
然之後有麻煩。
The day of reckoning always comes.
嗰個交帳嘅日子一定會嚟嘅。
The Bible says, be sure your sin will find you out.
聖經話你要確知你的罪必追上你。
The Bible says, sin, when it is finished, brings forth death.
聖經話罪既長成就生出死來。
You can have a good time for a little while.
你可以暫時好開心，
You can get drunk and have a good time.
你飲醉酒好開心，
You can sleep with somebody else's wife or somebody else's husband for a short time.
你犯奸淫好開心，短暫。
And you think you're having a good time.
你以為你自己過得好好，
But it's going to catch up with you.
但係你嘅罪會追上你。
Be sure your sin will find you out.
你要確知你的罪必追上你。
You can steal and lie.
你可以偷，可以呃，
You can have prejudice against people who are a little bit different than you are.
你可以仇視歧視人，
But someday it's going to catch up with you.
但係有一日必定追上你。
There's a film entitled Unsatisfied
有一出嘅電影叫做《不得滿足》，
that sums it up for this young man.
呢一個就描繪咗呢個青年人嘅心態。
One of the most listened to songs in history, I suppose, was by the Rolling Stones.
我估歷史上最多人聽嘅其中一首歌係滾石樂隊嘅歌，
It says, I can get no satisfaction.
就係叫做我得不着滿足。
And this young man could find no satisfaction.
嗰一個嘅青年人得不着滿足，
He was in the big city.
佢喺大城市裏面，
He went to the nightclubs.
佢去夜總會，
He got drunk.
佢飲醉，
He had a lot of friends.
有好多朋友，
But he was unsatisfied.
但係心都唔滿足。
He thought if he got away from his father and home and a belief in God, he would be satisfied.
佢以為離開阿爸唔信上帝就可以得滿足，
But then one day he ran out of money.
但係有一日佢錢冇晒，
A depression came.
好抑鬱，
People couldn't get jobs.
啲人冇呢一個嘅工作，
Unemployment was everywhere.
經濟蕭條，到處失業，
He had no money.
佢冇錢啊！
And the Bible says he began to be in want.
聖經話佢開始有所缺，有所求，
And suddenly he found that his friends left him.
忽然之間朋友走晒，
When he lost his money, he had no friends left.
你只係冇錢就冇朋友，
He had no home, no money, no friends, no job.
冇屋企冇朋友又冇錢又冇工作。
You see, you were made for eternity.
你知嘛？上帝創造你係為永恆而做，
God gave you a spirit. I mean, you are a spirit or a soul.
上帝俾你靈魂啊，你係屬靈嘅，
You have a body,
你有身體，
but living inside your body is your spirit, your soul that's going to live forever.
但係在你身體裏面嘅呢一個靈魂係永遠活着嘅。
And your body can be temporarily satisfied.
你個身體可以暫時得到滿足，
But your soul keeps crying out for something.
但係你個靈魂一路喺度空虛嘅呼喊。
You can be with a crowd in a restaurant or a nightclub.
你可以去到酒店，可以喺夜總會有好多人一齊，
And all of a sudden, you feel a little bit lonely.
但係忽然間你覺得有多少
And you
孤
begin
單，
to wonder what all this is about.
你開始諗到底人生為乜？
What is my life about?
到底我嘅生命有咩意義？
You were made in the image of God.
上帝按佢嘅形象樣式做你啊！
You were made for fellowship with God.
你嘅人生嘅目的係與上帝來往。
You were made to live forever
上帝做你要永遠活着，
and to have fellowship with God.
同佢來往。
The Bible says that if the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
聖經話：上主如果係我嘅牧者，我必不致缺乏。
Now notice this.
你注意呢件，
His body began to be in want.
呢個仔佢嘅身體開始有缺乏。
And in America, we have many young people that are on drugs.
喺美國有好多青年人吸毒，
And it's one of the great killers of young people in America today.
呢個亦都係殺害美國青年嘅其中第一號殺手。
And when they try to withdraw,
當佢哋企圖戒毒，
they go through all kinds of physical problems.
佢哋嘅身體會好痛苦。
And then there are young people in our country that get drunk.
然之後美國好多後生仔飲醉酒，
There are articles and stories every day in almost every American paper about
差唔多
alcohol.
每一日美國嘅報章都記載到關於醉酒方面嘅事情。
It is now number 4 in killing people in America.
醉酒係美國第4號殺手啦。
25,000 people a year are killed in automobiles driven by drunken young people.
喺美國每年有25,000人因為醉酒駕駛嘅司機導致佢哋死亡。
It kills more people than cancer.
甚至比癌症殺害嘅人更多。
So his body began to be in want.
所以佢嘅身體開始有所求，
His mind began to be in want.
佢嘅精神開始有所求。
The Bible says that we have a spiritual enemy.
聖經話我哋有一個屬靈嘅敵人，
He is called Satan or the devil.
佢個名叫做撒旦或者魔
And
鬼，
he blinds your mind.
佢使你嘅心眼盲啊！
The Bible says, but if our gospel be hid, it's hid to them that are lost.
聖經話福音若果係被隱蔽起上嚟，就係向嗰啲淪亡嘅人隱蔽起上嚟。
The Bible says that the devil is the god of this world.
聖經話魔鬼就係呢個世界嘅神，
One of the things he does is to blind the mind.
而佢其中一件嘅事就係使人心眼失明。
He doesn't want you to hear the gospel.
佢唔想你聽福音，
He doesn't want you to know about Jesus
佢唔
Christ.
想你知耶穌嘅事，
He's fighting for your soul.
佢要爭奪你嘅靈魂，
He'll offer you all kinds of enticements.
佢要將所有嘅嘢嚟到引誘你。
And then the next thing, his spirit began to be in want.
然之後第二樣就係佢嘅心靈有呢一個所求，
His soul, his spirit,
佢將佢嘅心靈嚟到出賣，
that part of him that lives forever.
呢一部分係永遠活着嘅。
He was restless and alienated and empty without God.
佢又不安，又與上帝疏離，佢冇上帝啊！
His body was in want.
佢嘅身體有所求，
His mind was in want.
佢嘅精神有所缺，
Now his spirit is in want.
佢嘅心靈亦都有所缺。
Why?
點解？
Because he was a slave.
因為佢係一個奴隸。
What do you mean a slave?
咩意思係咩奴
He
隸？
was a slave to sin.
佢係罪嘅奴隸。
Jesus said, whosoever committeth sin is a servant of sin.
耶穌話：凡係犯罪嘅就係罪嘅奴僕，
And sin has a whip.
罪係有一支嘅毒鞭，
And he cracks the whip across your shoulders
係將呢個鞭響你背脊度打落去，
and tells you to do this wrong thing and that wrong thing and the other wrong thing, and you do it.
佢使你做呢件錯事，嗰件錯事你就照做。
Why? Because you're a slave.
點解？因為你係佢奴隸。
Now he tried to get a job.
佢又想揾工，
Nobody would give him one.
冇人俾工佢做。
His former friends turned their back on him.
以前啲朋友都唔睬佢。
Finally, he found a job feeding the pigs.
最後佢揾到一份工就係餵豬。
And for a Jewish young man, that was a very, very humbling thing.
對猶太人嘅青年嚟講，嗰件係最慘嘅事。
And he began to eat with the pigs.
佢開始同豬一齊食嘢，
He ate the same things they ate.
豬食嘅佢又食。
He got in the pig pen and he began to look like a pig.
佢入到豬欄，連個樣都似埋隻豬。
He began to grunt like a pig.
佢開始軟硬硬，好似豬咁。
You see, your soul is so big
你知嘛？你嘅心靈係咁大，
that the whole world can't even fill it.
整個世界都唔能夠填滿佢。
The Bible says, what shall it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
聖經話，就算一個人啊，佢賺到全世界，佢係失去佢嘅靈魂，有咩益處呢？
You could have all the oil in the Middle East.
你可以得着中東所有嘅石油，
You could have all the riches in America and Europe.
你可以得着歐美兩地所有嘅財富，
You could have all the riches of all the millionaires in Hong Kong and Shanghai.
你可以得着香港、上海所有千萬富翁嘅家產，
And that doesn't satisfy.
但呢個都唔能夠叫心靈滿足，
Because your soul was made for fellowship with God and only God can fill it.
因為上帝做你嘅心靈係要與上帝來往，只有上帝先至可以充滿佢。
So this young man sat down one day and he began to think.
所以呢一個青年人有一日就坐低嚟諗。
It's a wonderful thing when you start thinking.
當你開始諗啊，真係好啊！
Thinking about your soul and your spirit and eternity.
思想你嘅靈魂，思想永恆嘅問題，
And thinking about God.
思想上帝嘅事。
And this young man began to reflect.
呢一個青年人開始反省，
He was discouraged and despondent and he thought about suicide.
佢沮喪灰心，幾乎要自殺，
Even the pigs began to watch him.
甚至連啲豬都開始留意佢。
And we're told while he was thinking, he came to himself.
咁話我哋聽咧，當佢開始諗嘅時候，佢就清醒過嚟，
He comes to his right mind.
佢就成個人醒返。
Now the Bible says that a sinner is a fool.
聖經話我哋聽，犯罪嘅人係愚拙嘅，
Not an intellectual fool, but a moral fool.
唔係智力上愚拙，而係道德上愚拙。
And the fool hath said in his heart, there's no God.
呢一個愚拙嘅人就在心裏面話冇上帝，
But the Spirit of God never lets up.
但係上帝嘅靈冇放棄。
He brings a Bible across your